All right, now I don't know if I'm gonna actually record on New Year's, so I'm just gonna say what I need to say before New Year's. I'm gonna sum this up real nice and sweet. 2026. I haven't really hearing people say, new me, new year, new me, new year, and trying to make New Year's resolutions because 2025 has been diabolical for a lot of people. But you got to remember, somebody is always thriving. Even in the Great Depression, there were people that was thriving despite millions of people struggling and become poor and homeless. Somebody always finds a way to make it. And it got me thinking, how do those people make it when things are so freaking chaotic? And working on myself, I have really find out my triggers, what I like, what I feel, don't feel. How I'm accepting and how I'm not accepting, and what do I feel about it, not what do other people feel about it. And in this, you find your power and you find your strength. And despite what's going on around you, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, and strangers, you learn that you have to stay in your power and that a lot of people are looking for the same thing but just don't know what to do with it and don't want to take the time to heal themselves so that they can get it. Now, healing yourself and becoming one and finding out what you like and don't like can be a journey in itself and can leave you lonely as hell a lot of the time. And I think that's what makes you want to reach out and grab onto things that don't really energy match. So 2026, instead of everybody making New Year's resolutions talking about how horrible shit is and all that craziness, how about we just go with the flow and listen to ourselves for a change? I know it's hard to do. You might have to go to therapy. I had to. you know, and let me tell you something. When you lose the person that has loved you and asked about you and cared about you like no other, it's a hole that seems like it can't be filled. And then you finally realize that you have to fill it yourself. Man. And then you finally realize that you've been worthy to feel love the whole time. There's nothing wrong with people getting to know you. And you had to also learn not to become bitter, but better. And you got to work on triggers and all that stuff. And then you got to realize healing is a forever process. I think the problem is people think that you're just going to be healed and you're just going to be like this perfect, wonderful, great person or something like that. Our life is never going to have issues and problems. You're human. Issues and problems is always going to happen. Taken from somebody that's older. Okay? And all you can do is try your best to love and recognize what it takes for you to feel it. And one thing I had to learn to do is stop accepting less. And that it's okay for me to feel it too, And to not sacrifice being a good person, but also making sure that you're not people pleasing to the point where you lose yourself. Because I've done it for so freaking long that it feels weird not to do it. And I think that's where a lot of people end up stopping because it's like, I'd rather be accepted. I want to be part of the crowd. But if I'm being honest, and if you, I don't know if it's other people like me, but even when I was people pleasing and trying to make people like me and trying to be part of the crowd, I never was part of it anyway. I still was an outcast then, as I am an outcast now. Even when I was doing that, I still never felt love for real unless I was around my mom. People still wasn't asking about me. People still wasn't wanting me in their spaces or that made me feel like I should be in the space. And I realized intimacy is very important to me and I sacrificed that for all my life. And that's something I'm not willing to sacrifice anymore. And you just have to realize how worthy you are, even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of your loneliness, even when you probably lose the best people in your life. And for me, that was my mom. And I always want to remind people when you lose somebody that has loved you in a way, it makes you realize how unloved you've been feeling despite who you've been around, despite all that stuff. It makes you realize and work on yourself. And I had years since my mom passed away to really realize and work on myself and realize what I'm not sacrificing anymore and the love that I do deserve and am worthy of. And I don't have to change who I am to get it. Because if you want real love, you're gonna have to be the real you. And that's something that I realize is hard for people to do, to be the real them so they can get real love. And waiting for it is a bitch. Okay? But anyway, so um for New Year's, I just want to put that out there. What I've been doing is just trying to go with the flow and listen to myself instead of listening to others. Because I know I got a good heart. I know I'm a good person. I know I'm giving and everything. But I want that shit back. You know what I'm saying? And I have a lot of trust issues and everything. That's why I'm very because yeah, all the shit you go through makes you change. And I decided to be better and not bitter, and in that process, it's like you stay open, but you also gotta make sure that you're not hurting yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you want to be open and you want to love people because I'm very loving. I got a lot of love to give, but it's like I do not want to be in spaces that I've been all my life where it's like I'm trying and trying, and the reciprocation is not felt, and nobody is really wanting to know how I feel to be loved, and there's no real conversation. There's not real communication, and it's not that people like that isn't out there. It's just that staying in this, I guess, in this heal phase, people don't talk about how hard it is to be yourself, no matter what. Okay, it's a mother. Okay, let me tell you that. But I wouldn't change it for the world, and I have lost a lot, and in the midst of losing a lot, you gain yourself. And so when they say when Christianity, spirituality, everybody got that one thing right. When you lose everything, that's when you find yourself. It's true. I think having everything kind of blocks you're working on yourself, and you're trying to just be in a certain level, you're people pleasing, you're trying to be like I've been there, been doing it my whole life, trying not to be feminine, trying not to be mess, trying not to do this, just to make everybody else comfortable. And then when you make yourself comfortable for a change, it still kind of feels uncomfortable because you're not used to making yourself comfortable. You're used to making everybody else comfortable by toning yourself down or toning down your light because you already been through the jealousy, you already been through the gossip, you already been through the hate, you already been through the manipulation, you already been through the outcasting, you already been there, and you try to find it in church, you try to find it in family, you try to find it in friends, you try to find it at work, you try to find it, and you can only find it in yourself. And we as human beings, we're very touch deprived. People don't know we're very touch deprived. It's a lot of intimacy issues and stuff going on, but I think I just have to realize that maybe that's just my environment because of how I portray myself. I do not blame people for my life. I'm the one who wanted to people please. I'm the one who decided to listen to people and stop my dreams and goals because of their jealousy. I'm the one, even at my last job. I let them run over me. I let somebody take credit for the things I was doing and everything. So when I finally started speaking up, and started standing up for myself. Yes, you do lose. I lost my job for standing up for myself, but yes, standing up for myself, and you realize how people will lie on you, and still people will do the most craziest stuff. But you have to realize when people do that, that's theirs. And my problem was I was taking ownership of everybody else's shit when the only ownership I should have been taking was my own. Okay, I know how good a person I am. I know how I live, and a lot of people don't really, I guess, believe in that type of stuff. So therefore, they don't believe in me. But what I have been learning through myself, through the therapist I went through, and even through Chat GPT, about it's just like you have to realize what you're deserving of and what you're worthy of, and there's nothing wrong with protecting your space and feeling the love that you can actually feel. You know what I'm saying? And people can give it to you or not. But sometimes you just gotta find your tribe, and your tribe is out there. The right environment is out there, and sometimes it takes a while, a long time, and sometimes you ain't gonna get it until you late in age. Okay, just don't give up on you. Make 2026. Just go with the flow, and try your best to believe that what they say, even in religion, all things work for your good. Yeah. All right. I'm out. Thank you for listening. Bye.